Have you ever wondered? What if you woke up one morning with a simple but terrifying message staring you in the face? You have exactly 24 hours to fix all your regrets. No second chances. No more excuses. Just 24 ticking, haunting hours to make everything right. Close your eyes for a second and imagine every word you never said, every apology you never made, every risk you were too scared to take, all flashing before you like a movie you can't pause or rewind. What would you fix first? Who would you run to? What would you finally say? Or maybe, what would you finally forgive in yourself? This is not just a story, it's a mirror. Because if you really had only 24 hours left to erase the pain you buried so deep, would you even know where to start? Today, we step into the shoes of Daniel, a man who got that very message and found himself racing against time, against fate, and ultimately against himself. Because sometimes the greatest battle isn't fixing the world outside, it's healing the war within. It started just like any other day. Daniel woke up, groggy, reaching for his phone to scroll through the usual flood of emails and notifications. But that morning, there was something different. No sender, no subject line, just one chilling message blinking on the screen. You have 24 hours to fix your regrets. Below the message, a countdown had already begun. 23 hours, 59 minutes, 54 seconds. 23 hours, 59 minutes, 53 seconds. 23 hours, 59 minutes, 52 seconds. At first, Daniel laughed it off. Some hacker prank? A twisted joke? He even texted his friend Mark about it, expecting a laughing emoji in return. But when he looked into the mirror, he didn't see himself. He saw something else. Something hollow. Something scared. As he stared deeper into his own tired eyes, a gut-wrenching realization washed over him. This wasn't about the outside world. It was about him. It was about every moment he chose silence over truth. Every relationship he shattered with his own fear. Every dream he abandoned because he thought he wasn't good enough. And now, the clock was ticking, not just on his phone, but in his soul. With trembling hands, Daniel sat down and made a list. The 3 people he had hurt the most. The 3 apologies he thought he had all the time in the world to make. Except now, he had 24 hours. And maybe not even that. Daniel's heart was racing. The weight of years of regret pressed down on his chest, making it hard to breathe. 24 hours. It sounded like a lot, but suddenly, it felt like nothing at all. He sat frozen, memories flooding his mind in waves. The missed phone calls, the harsh words he could never take back, the times he walked away when someone needed him the most. It wasn't just regret, it was shame. And shame has a way of paralyzing you, making you think it's already too late. But something inside Daniel pushed him to move. A small voice, buried under years of guilt, whispering, "It's not over yet." He grabbed a notebook and wrote 2 words across the top of the page. Make amends. Then he divided it into 3 sections. Family, love, friendship. 3 parts of his life he had shattered without ever fully realizing the damage. 3 doors he needed to reopen, even if it meant facing the pain he tried so long to ignore. Daniel took a deep breath. He had no time for fear, no time for pride. He only had time for truth, and the clock was already burning through the minutes. The first name on Daniel's list wasn't a friend or a lost love. It was his mother. Years ago, after a heated argument, Daniel had slammed the door and never looked back. Pride told him he was right. Years of silence told a different story. Daniel drove to her house, each second on the road slicing through him like a knife. What would he even say? How do you apologize for years of absence, for birthdays missed, for holidays spent in anger instead of forgiveness? When he arrived, he stood frozen at her front door, hand trembling before he could even knock. What if she didn't want to see him? What if the damage was already too deep? But before he could run away, the door opened, and there she was, older, smaller than he remembered. But her eyes, they still searched for her son. For a moment, they just stood there, the weight of lost years filling the space between them. Then Daniel spoke. "I'm sorry, Mom," he choked out. "For everything. No speeches, no justifications, just raw truth." And with trembling arms, she pulled him into the kind of hug that only a mother could give. The kind that says, "I never stopped loving you. I was just waiting." Daniel realized then, sometimes it isn't the apology that matters the most. It's the act of showing up, of finally coming home. One regret, healed. But the clock was still ticking. Daniel's second stop was different. It wasn't a simple apology. It wasn't just about saying the words he wished he'd said. It was about facing a love he'd lost, a love that still haunted him. Her name was Emma. They had been inseparable once, back when the world seemed smaller, when their hearts were simpler. But then the fight happened, the one he didn't know how to fix, the one where his pride won, and her tears didn't seem important enough to stop him. But now, in the face of time running out, Daniel realized that there was no amount of regret that could undo what had happened. And there was no way to turn back the clock. He walked up to her apartment, each step heavy with the weight of his past mistakes. The knock on her door felt like a knock on his soul. Emma opened it, her eyes widening in surprise. She had moved on, lived a full life without him. But there was still a flicker of recognition in her gaze, a flicker of the love they once shared. "I'm sorry, Emma," he said, his voice shaking. "I was selfish. I took you for granted, and I should have fought for us." For a moment, there was silence. Then Emma spoke softly. "Daniel, I moved on because I had to. But hearing you say this, I wish we hadn't waited so long." And just like that, in that brief exchange, something inside Daniel shifted. The regret of what they had lost still stung, but now it was tinged with understanding. He didn't need to fix everything with Emma, just to finally admit what he'd failed to do all those years ago. Acknowledge his mistakes and let her go. The final name on his list wasn't a family member, nor a lover. It was Mark, his best friend, the one person who had always been there, until Daniel pushed him away in the name of self-protection. The argument was so petty in hindsight, so foolish, but in that moment, Daniel thought he was right. He thought he could walk away and never look back. He thought he didn't need anyone else. But standing there in front of Mark's door, Daniel understood how wrong he had been. Mark wasn't just a friend, he was family, and Daniel had torn that bond apart. He knocked. The door opened, and there stood Mark, older, but still that same loyal friend. Their eyes locked for a long moment, neither saying anything. Then, Daniel broke the silence. "I was wrong, Mark. I let my pride destroy everything we had. I pushed you away, and I regret it." Mark didn't say anything for a few seconds, but then, slowly, he smiled. "Man, I've been waiting for you to say that. It's been years." They hugged, and for the first time in a long while, Daniel felt like maybe, just maybe, things could be fixed. Maybe there was hope for second chances, not just with the people he loved, but with himself. As the last hour on the clock ticked away, Daniel found himself in an unexpected place. Alone, he had made amends with his family, his lost love, and his best friend. He had said the words that needed to be said. He had done everything in his power to fix the things that broke him and everyone else around him. But there was one final, terrifying step left. He needed to forgive himself. He sat in his car, staring out the windshield, the weight of all those years of regret pressing on him harder than ever before. What if it wasn't enough? What if the hurt was too deep, the damage too vast to undo? What if, in the end, The biggest regret of all was that he never learned how to forgive himself. The truth was, Daniel had spent years running from the guilt. He thought if he kept moving, if he kept fixing things on the outside, maybe the inside would heal itself. But the truth was, it didn't. The truth was, the only way to find peace was to stop running. And so, in those final minutes, Daniel did what he had never done before. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered to himself, "I forgive you." It wasn't a magical moment. It wasn't a declaration of everything being okay. But it was a start. It was the first step toward healing. As the countdown hit 0, Daniel sat there, feeling the weight of the past 24 hours lift off his shoulders. The clock had stopped. The race was over. But something had changed in him. Something he hadn't expected. Peace. He had tried to fix everything. He had tried to right every wrong, apologize for every mistake. But in the end, the thing that truly changed him wasn't the apologies or the actions. It was the acceptance, the realization that sometimes the hardest thing to do is let go. Let go of the guilt, let go of the past, and let go of the version of yourself that keeps holding on to regrets. Daniel opened his eyes, feeling lighter. The weight he had carried for so long was finally gone, replaced by a quiet sense of calm. In that final hour, he realized something more powerful than any apology could be. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean everything will be perfect. It just means you're finally free to live, free to move forward without the past keeping you chained down. And that, Daniel thought, was the real lesson. So what about you? What are the regrets that are holding you back? Who do you need to forgive? Is it someone else, or is it yourself? If Daniel's story resonated with you, don't wait for a countdown to make things right. The time is now. Take that first step, make that call, apologize, forgive, and set yourself free. If you found value in this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need to hear this today. And if you're ready for more life-changing stories, check out this next video. It might just be the inspiration you need to change your life. Until next time, remember, it's never too late to make things right. You have the power to heal, to forgive, and to move forward.